Well, it's Thursday, and you all know what that means. That means, once again, MLW Fusion is now in the aftermath after Fury Road. Alex Kane retained the MLW World Heavyweight Championship, and of course, we have plenty other things taking place. As you know, we saw the surprising return of Selena De La Renta and all this and that. But, however, for for this latest, of course, on the MLW Fusion, Saint Laurent is now on a mission to destroy Mance Warner and Microman, and of course, uh, Calvin Tankman gets a title opportunity, but not from your MLW championship, mostly coming from Germany with the WXW Unified World Championship. Shigo Iri actually defends it. So I'm excited to see how this is going to go out. And of course, Impact Wrestling is only 1 day away from Victoriy Road. Anything could happen in here on out, and I can't wait to see how this is going to turn out. And then, of course, we cannot forget Ring of Honor. Can't wait to see we only have a Proving Ground match. I think two of them, I'm sure. And of course, we have the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship on the line. And of course, we top it up with some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are putting out, who's booked, what matches are set, also who is injured, who's been signed, the whole enchilada. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everybody, welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is where, of course, we throw in some daily reviews on every promotion there is in the world, such as here in the United States, also in Japan, Canada, Mexico, anywhere in the world. We also do some cool stuff that we throw in, such as the Unagi Sayaka Watch, discussions, and all various things. So if you like this channel, please subscribe to us. And of course, if you like this episode, please click like or leave us a nice comment down on the bottom. So let's begin with our very first review. This is MLW Fusion 181. Now, keep in mind, we're coming off from Fury Road from this past weekend. It opened up with Saint Laurent, on two different occasions. One at the office, of course, if you saw, Mance Warner bit his foot off instead of kissing his foot after losing the match to Matt Cardona. And of course, he had to go to the veterinarian to get rabies shots. So this thing between Saint Laurent and Mance Warner is not even over. Now, you ask yourself, what is the beef between them? If you're new to the channel, it's simple. There was a little mini wrestler that Saint Laurent managed named Microman. So Microman was being under the control of Saint Laurent, but he gained new friends, of course. Mance Warner and his buddies, Matthew Justice and Juan Commander, together they call themselves this second gear crew. However, once he addressed the situation, he goes around again in the ring, but this time he introduced a brand new client. And many of you WWE fans remember this guy. It's not my fault. Even though it is his fault, we're talking about Schnitzky. We haven't seen him for many years. So he is now in MLW, and he faces some guy named Yoshifur. I can't pronounce it right, but it felt like a squash match by watching it. So that kind of ended like that. But once again, Siski decided to attack him to send a clear message that he's here in MLW. So that's pretty much it, how it turns out. However, later we see Matt Striker doing his thing in the ring, doing some promo or whatever, here comes the full-blooded Italians, the FBI, Little Guido and Ray Jazz, along with Jesus, Jesus Dominguez, or as you remember him, Rodrigo Dominguez, Ricardo Rodriguez from WWE. Apparently, they're calling themselves now their family because they're comparing themselves to Italians and Mexicans or have similar lifestyles. So that kind of sets up. But however, they were interrupted by the circus. We're talking about main event. Midas Black and Jay Lyons. However, they have a tag partner that decided to show up, and that is, of course, Microman. Now, you probably would have thought this match was going to be a lot of fun, yes, because it was a circus. It was Microman who picked up the win with a moonsault or a mini salt onto Ray Jazz to pick up the win. However, out of all people who has a grudge against Microman, Sam Adonis showed up, saying that nobody in Mexico wants Microman, so he feels that it's his God-given duty to get rid of him from the world once and for all. However, he gets help from Saint Laurent and Stitsky, but when they tried to finish him off, luckily Microman's buddies, the Second Gear Crew, showed up. So now it's not war between both Second Gear Crew and Microman against Saint Laurent and his entourage. So we'll see how that proceeds. Now, our main event features the WXW Unified World Championship. Shigehiro defends it against the heavyweight hustle, Calvin Tankman. Now, I want to make this clear. It was already been announced that Calvin Tankman is now a free agent. Now, I don't know if this was his last official match with this promotion. This was already been taped, so I don't know exactly what's going on, how long it's been like this. But I have to say it was a pretty good match because it felt like a powerhouse type match, you know. But Shigehiro actually pulled off the Beast Bomber onto Calvin Tankman on multiple times to take him down. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with what the Beast Bomber is, it's like the Lariat or the Pumping Bomber. So basically, he actually picked up the win. So even though Calvin Tankman did not win, he get the respect from Erie himself. However, before the show ended, apparently, as you all know, I announced that Minoru Suzuki will be coming to MLW. However, it appears someone is calling him out, and that is none other than Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu. Now, as a fan, I like to say this. It's going to be a banger of a match seeing Jacob Fatu versus Minoru Suzuki. I'm a Minoru Suzuki fan myself. The dude is amazing. So I have to say, I want to see this match happen. I do. So hope everybody who's fans, you definitely want to see it. So we'll see what happens until then, here and out. So for right now, let's just end this with MLW and move on with Impact Wrestling. Okay, Impact Wrestling. As I said before, one day away from Victory Road. Anything could happen before then. So let's get started. Now, our opening match features Deonna Purrazzo taking on Dani Luna. Now, think of this as a warm-up match because, as you know, Dani Luna has a bit of a powerhouse type of wrestling that would compare herself to Jordynne Grace. Now, this match is more of like sending an official statement to Jordynne Grace. For some reason, Deonna Purrazzo believes that Jordynne Grace's announcement to return to the Impact Wrestling it overshadowed her. And now it's like she's trying to send a clear message. But once again, Deonna Purrazzo was able to apply the Fujiwara armbar and win the match. So this is a direct message to Jordynne Grace. So we'll see what happens in Victory Road. Now, as you know, Crazy Steve has gone the cuckoo. Even though he said he's not crazy, he sends out a straight up message towards Black Taurus. So we could see now a bit of a feud between them, but we'll see where this one progresses. Now, Tommy Dreamer, as you know, he made this very surprising announcement before this was announced. He challenged Kenny King for the digital media title, but however, not only he's getting a shot, he's also putting his career on the line. However, Heath, who has in fact known Dreamer for many years, questioned Dreamer's decision, saying, "Is this the right choice for you to challenge this title and but at the same time putting your career on the line?" So, in the perspective, he thinks that Dreamer was rushing this too fast. He told him to take a step back and try to see 2 steps back and then move 1 step forward. So that sort of thing, but we don't know exactly. But we'll see what happens on Victoriy Road for that. Now, our next match is tag team action. We have Champagne Shira versus Joya, Joe Hendricks, and Yoya Uemura. Now, Joya has been been recognized as a tag team, but however, in every perspective, we need to see them pick up good wins, and I think this is a good type of way to show that they're being serious, and they did. Their teamwork was very good, despite the fact we know that Singh and Shera are a stable tag team, but they work both Hendry and Uemura actually worked pretty well when they applied the one-hand blender onto Singh. 1, 2, 3, it was done. So we will see them some point possibly winning tag team titles. So we'll see where that takes us for that. Now, as a result of things have been going on after, um, you know, Emergence, Steve Macklin and Bully Ray are teamed up to take on Josh Alexander in PCO. But however, as you know, Bully Ray is still conflicted over the fact that he is trying to prove a point that PCO is not. He is human, but he's not. So they're going back and forth on this. So it's kind of interesting how they're telling that story. Now, as you know, speaking of Josh Alexander, Gia Miller had a moment to interview Josh Alexander and explain how this whole thing is going on. Of course, the issue that Alexander has is Macklin. Now, remember, Macklin has been trying to prove that he can beat Alexander. Now, he was unable to do that when Josh Alexander was the Impact World Champion. So it's like saying, championship or no championship, I will beat you. So that sort of thing. So Alexander knows that that's what Macklin's true motives are. Now, our next match, we have tag team action. We have Subculture and versus Witch Swan and Callahan. Now, this is a type of match where many of the tag teams are trying desperately to be the next person to dethrone or trying to take on the Rascals at tag team. But I have to say, it was a pretty good match on this one. But in the end, of course, the teamwork between two old friends like Swan and Callahan were able to pick up a good win when Callahan set up Mark Andrews, giving Swan the opportunity for the 450, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it's done. Now, as you know, the Shawtaraj, completely with Giselle Shaw, Savannah Evans, and of course Jay Vidal. Now, as you know, they were unable to capture the Knockouts tag team titles on the previous week. Then, of course, unable to proceed on Emergence. But however, they were able to eliminate both MK Ultra, Killer Kelly, and Masha Slamovich during the Battle Royale they had a week ago. So it appears now that possibly Giselle Shaw and Savannah Evans could be targeting the tag team titles. So we'll see where that takes us from there. Now, as you know, the Rascals apparently are getting ready for their upcoming match against the Mercy Machine Guns once again. But however, the Good Hands are demanding that they get an opportunity of the tag team titles. But the obvious question does tell us now. Now, even though Matthew Renroll, one of the ring commentators, doesn't believe that there's any collusion between both teams. Now, we have seen collusions in Impact before. We've seen that with Macklin and Moose in the past. But is there really collusion? Well, we'll find out soon enough. Our next match, we have Leo Rush taking on Kevin Knight. Now, keep in mind, Leo Rush will be in Victory Road defending the X Division title against Kushida. Now, keep in mind, Leo Rush only has the X Division title because he knows that this is his one ticket to move up to the top, meaning he can cash in option C. Now, those who are unfamiliarized with option sheet, let me remind you. This is where you cash in your title and you request an opportunity of the world title. Has been done before. It all started with Austin Aries. I've seen Chris Sabin do it. I even seen Josh Alexander do it. So we have been seeing a lot of that around. So, however, this he has to focus his match against Kevin Knight, who is Kushida's tag team partner and student. However, Lio Rush was able to walk out by applying the final hour by winning the match. However, he decided to give a beating to Kevin Knight to send a direct message to Kushida, but luckily Kushida showed up and he was about to apply the hoverboard lock, but Lio Rush ran. Now, our next up we have is the contract signing for the Knockouts World Title between Alicia and Trinity. Now, Alicia, as you know, has never had an opportunity for a Knockouts title, but she believes that ends today. And of course, her lousy husband decided to get involved, and of course, a brawl between Alicia and Trinity stepped in, but that disgusting piece of garbage, Eddie Edwards, picked her up and threw her through a table. But Frank Kazarian showed up to make sure no more damage was done. But I wouldn't be surprised in Victory Road if Kazarian makes sure that Eddie Edwards does not get involved. So we'll see how this goes in Victory Road. Now our main event features Bully Ray and Steve Maclin taking on Josh Alexander and PCO. Now you know how this story goes. Maclin has some unfinished business with Josh Alexander. PCO is hunting for Bully Ray, but however, Bully Ray was able to try to peace talk PCO and then low blowed and then pick up a win. So we'll see what happens between all of these guys in Victory Road. And I think that's pretty much it right now with Impact. I believe it's time for Ring of Honor. Okay, Ring of Honor. It started out with an interview with Lexi, as you know. I did not see the 0 hour in All Out. Decided, to skip it. Apparently, if you guys may have heard what happened, apparently Athena is telling her minion Billy what she just do, resulted of losing the match. So basically, I think it's so funny how Billy is like acting like a minion, being the minion, where her primary concern is for the well-being of Athena. I thought that is great. I thought it was great. But however, Allison Kay shows up to not put her in her place, but demanded a match against her. But here's the interesting twist: she never said anything about the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. That was all Athena. She opened her big mouth about that. So even though she did open her mouth, that kind of went. She didn't. Allison Kay did not went into that direction, but Athena did anyway. So that match was booked for our opening match. Now you can tell that there was Allison Kay throwing everything at her, but however, it did end with the match being throwing the Eclipse. I don't know what they call it now, but it's really funny. However, Billy Starks being a very cheerful minion, being a cheerleader to Athena, I think it's great. I think I love it. But later, of course, once again, Athena was about to do the thing with Allison Kay. Billy Starks stopped her, and then, of course, during a later interview, questioned her about it. So I think this is a great dynamic duo between Athena and Billy. So we'll see how that goes. Our next match, we have Tony Nese versus Silas Young. This is going to be one of those hard-hitting matches in this one in particular. I mean, we've seen Silas Young. He is a tough SOB, it's during his Ring of Honor days. But, however, it was Tony Nese who picked up the win by applying a knee strike right in the face of Silas Young. 1, 2, 3. Over. Just like that. Now, Lexi conducted an interview with Dalton Castle. Seems that he's not his usual cheerful, or like he's getting pumped for whatever, but I don't know. So we'll see what's up with him later. Next up, we got the Spanish Announce Project El Helico and Serpentico taking on Adam Priest and Shaft. I have to say this is a really good moment because we haven't seen that much of the Spanish announced project, but they were able to pick up 2 wins previously. But could they make this one a third? Well, they did, thanks to Helico with the Navarro lock onto, who did he put it on? Oh yeah, he put it on Shaft. Shaft had no other choice but the tap. So that's 3 wins so far for them. Now, we do see a little interview with Kiera Hogan. As you know, her opponent later on she'll be facing is someone when she was tagging along with Jade Cargill. We're talking about Layla Gray. Now, if you guys remember the friction between those two, it happened. Layla Gray was lumped in there thanks to Stokely Hathaway. But, however, Kiera Hogan did not like the idea of having her around due to the fact that her BFF Red Velvet was not around. But we'll see how these two former teammates will face off. Now, our next match, we have the Renegades, Charlotte and Robin taking on Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue. I think we have seen some good developing teams. Now, we know the Renegade Twins have worked together very well as a tag team from the very beginning. But sometimes when we see makeshifts, we don't know if they can succeed or did. But I think this was a perfect opportunity. But it was Sky Blue who picked up the win on one of the twins with Cold Blue, and just like that. I mean, if there was a women's tag team division in both in Ring of Honor and AEW, I'd say I would like to see both Willow and Sky Blue team up. Now, we do have a proved ground match for the Ring of Honor the World 6-Man Tag Team Championships. We have Gravity, Griff Garrison, and Metalik. I have to say it was a pretty good match. I have to say we have seen pretty good matches when it comes to wrestlers who tried to win their matches against the Mogul Embassy. But however, it was Metalik who ended up on the wrong side of that loss, allowing for the Mogul Embassy to continue to win. Thanks to the pin by Cage when they onto Metalik like that. Now, our next match, as you know, is Layla Gray versus Kiera Hogan. Now, I said this before, these two ladies are no strangers. They were part of the entourage with Jade Cargill, who was the longest reigning TBS champion. So you probably would have thought there's just going to be a pretty good match. I have to say it was, because Layla Gray, we know she has picked up good wins here and there, but Kiera Hogan was the one that picked up a very good win against Layla Gray. I'm sure that sooner or later, she'll be back in the hunt for the Ring of Honor Women's World title soon enough. Now, our next interview we do have with Lexi. She talks to Maria Kanellis. Now, however, it appears that Maria has something else in mind as well. As you recently saw in the last couple of weeks, it seems that she wants to build an army. And she already has scouted Layla Hirsch and Cole Carter. But now her latest scout is none other than Griff Garrison. So basically, Cole Carter told him to think about the offer that Maria is setting. So the obvious question does tell, will he accept it? We'll see about that. Now, our next match is a 6-man tag team match. I have to say it was a pretty good one. We have Willie Mack teaming up with the Infantry, Carly Bravo and Sean Dean. They face off against Davey Bang, August Matthews, and Joshi. I have to say Willie Mack and the Infantry, pretty good. I would say, even though Willie Mack has never served in the military, but I can say he could be an honorary member of the Infantry. I think they worked pretty well. They were able to pick up a win against other opponents. It was the captain, Sean Dean, who picked up the win by pinning Davey Bang. So I have to say, pretty good trios team. Now, our next interview, we do see Lee Johnson. Now, Lee Johnson later on has a proving ground match for the Ring of Honor World Championship against Claudio. Now, he knows what's at stake. He knows that he has an opportunity here, but he did state that he does have one shot. So this is more like he cannot put it uh, put it the waist, knowing that he's facing a tougher competitor. So we'll see how he does in that match. Now our next match we have Lady Frost versus Layla Hirsch. But what I think I like about this when Lady Frost comes out is Caprice Coleman and Ian Riccaboni are like saying, Did you forget to pay the heater bill? It's kind of chilling here. I like it whenever Lady Frost comes out. They try to throw in like some reference, like saying, "Man, why is it cold in here?" That's alright. It makes me so laughable knowing that it's so great that they're doing things like that. But I have to say, it was a pretty interesting match. However, Maria, along with Cole Carter, were watching. But however, Layla Hirsch is always looking up for challenges, better opportunities, and she actually picked up the win when she applied the armbar. Now, at the post-match, Maria Kanellis went up to her, tried to shake her hand, and then Layla Hirsch just walked out. Now, I don't know what that means. It to me doesn't mean that she's not interested or she's asking for more demands. That's the thing that's still unclear to me. But we'll see how this one progresses. Now our next match, we have tag team match, and we got Gringo Loco teaming up with Blake Christian, two guys who know each other pretty well in GCW. They take on the Pure Wrestling champion Katsuyori Shibata, and then of course the New Japan Strong Openweight champion Eddie Kingston. You probably would have thought this was already over when you see Shibata and Kingston. Well, it kind of did, thanks to Shibata when he put Blake Christian to sleep, and then PK, it was over right from there. Now, our next interview we have with Lexi, she talked to Josh Woods and Sparkler Sterling. Now, if you guys remember clearly, Josh Woods is no longer part of the association with varsity athletes. Even though Sterling understood him, saying, okay, he will still be his manager, but he'll do everything in his power to give him what he wants. So he's setting up open challenges to the best pure wrestling wrestlers in the world. So basically saying, give me a call and we'll see what we go from there. Now, our next match is a proving ground match for the ROH World Championship. Lee Johnson versus Claudio Castagnoli. I have to say Lee Johnson did his best. However, he was nowhere near match against the Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio until he applied a European uppercut. It was done right from there. Now, our next match, we have the Iron Savages taking on Ren Jones and Caleb Conley. You probably can guess that this match ended with Iron Savages when they did like the little human tower thingy onto Ren Jones. Bronson picked up the win by pinning him, just like that. Now our last interview, no, never mind. I already talked about this one with Dina and Billy already, but let's move on to the main event. We have Action Andretti, Darius Martin, and best friends Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor. They take on the Outlanders and the Workhorsemen. I have to say it was a pretty good match. However, you did see the hug. You got to give the people what they want. Everybody gives themselves a hug. The Martin, Darius, Action, it was really fun. But however, it was the teamwork with the best friends. They're able to put away. I think it was Floyd, Turbo Floyd that was behind, who was the one who got pinned. But nonetheless, best friends, Darius Martin and Action Andretti picked up the win. So I think that's pretty much it. What we have with Ring of Honor. We'll see what happens next week. Let's move on to our final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So this is what we have for everyone, what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. Sports Illustrated has revealed that the Dudley Boyz, Devon Dudley and and Bubba D or whatever, I forgot his name. Anyway, they have reached an agreement with WWE and they signed a legendary contract. Now, those who aren't familiarized with a legendary contract is these guys will make rare appearances in WWE. I don't know what's the extent of their contract. Uh, I I don't know how it officially works, but I do know that they will make appearance here and there, that sort of thing. We have seen wrestlers do that before, so we'll see where that goes. This was coming from CMLL Ladyring. This is a tournament that normally is sponsored by CMLL, but they do it in Japan. They announced that Misa Gagura will be facing Bani Oikawa in the tournament, so that's going to be a lot of interesting fun to watch. Now, GCW once again are heading back to Japan in October. They'll be doing 2 shows in the same week. On the 10th of October, they'll be in Shinkiba First Ring, and then 2 days later, on the 12th of October, will be in Corkin Hall. Now, it's still unclear what matches are taking place, but I will be following up on this once things are making clear. Now, Spark Joshi Puroresu of America has announced for the next talent sign at the Rising Heat East in Orlando, Florida on October 14th. We have Jessie. Now, if you guys aren't familiarized with Jessie, she was recently in Stardom doing a tour. She's also a member of Club Venus, which is Mina Shirakawa's unit. Jessie was a former NXT star. I forgot her name. Let me try to pull up that information real quick, what she was known, because I cannot remember. Well, I don't know exactly what she was doing. She had a different name at the time, but yes, she is now being recognized. I don't know what she's been doing since her tour in Stardom was done, but it's great to hear that she's doing something else. Um, West Coast Pro has announced for the 2 matches for the West Coast 5, their 5th anniversary on October 14th as well. Mike Bailey will be in action to take on Alpha Zoe. And of course, we have Timothy Thatcher taking on JT Thorne. I don't know who that guy is, but I'm sure it's going to be a good match. 2 updates coming in from Wrestling Revolver. Now, the first one, as you know, there's going to be the Revolver Women's Grand Prix taking place on October 8th. It was announced that Jordynne Grace will be in action, but not in the tournament. Now, there is going to be a tournament involved in this, but she's not involved in this. Can't wait to see how this was going to go. However, Wrestling Revolver even made a huge announcement. They scored a very high-profile wrestler coming from Japan, and that is the Supernova Kato Kiyomiya from Pro Wrestling Noah, making his Wrestling Revolver debut. I think this is great. So, 2 debuts on the same day, Jordynne Grace and Kato Kiyomiya, because both shows are exactly on October 8th. Now, I think this is our last thing that's going to be on our update. As you know, we're getting closer and closer till November. World Tag League has been announced. Now, those who are not familiarized with World Tag League, this is an annual tournament by New Japan Pro Wrestling at the end of the year. The winners will get a shot of the IWGP heavyweight tag team titles, and I believe those titles are currently in the possession of Bushiman. Same thing with the point system. You win a match, you get 2 points. Lose a match, you get 0. In the case of a time limit draw, you get 1 point each. The tournament will begin on November 20th in Corkin Hall. It will end on December 10th on the Grand Messi Kumamoto. I think that's what it's called. If you guys know about this league, it's pretty awesome to see. One time I kind of questioned this. How come the Bucks were not involved in this tournament back in 2018 when they won the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles? Well, the only reason they did not participate was due to their personal lives, more specifically at home, because they felt they did not want to take some time away from their families. But we have seen various teams win in this one, like the Gorillas of Destiny. Bushiman is one of them as well. Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. Dangerous Techers Trekkers. I forgot who else, but yes, those. So I'm excited for this tournament, and I think that's pretty much it. What we have for now in our news updates. I believe it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode coming up. I do know now that we will have New Japan Pro Wrestling with Road of Destruction. Now, I'm mostly interested in what's been going on with New Japan, with, of course, Evil stealing the IWGP World Heavyweight title, declaring himself as the champion, saying that Sonata forfeit the title, which we all know it's a bunch of BS. The only reason he's saying that is because he wants this title. He wants to go to Wrestle Kingdom. And he's now saying that he's the champion, Sonata is the challenger at Destruction. And of course, Sho did the same thing too with Taichi stealing the KOPW title, saying that he made it look weak. So we'll see if these guys are able to get their title back. But all roads lead to destruction soon enough. We do have AEW Rampage and NXT Level Up. We'll see how that's going to go down. I know we have Victoriy Road as well, but I'm not 100% sure if I will be able to watch it. But we'll see how that rolls out as well. If anything else, we'll go from there. But for now, we'll leave it as that for this. So I will say this. I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang!